Welcome to another Fast and Fun video here. We're in mid-Wales, actually in the Elan Valley, and we're on another road trip. This week we've took a group of Mark 1 Skoda Fabia vRSs with the PD130 diesel engines to come out to really enjoy typical Welsh weather here, but what it has got is brilliant roads that offer every type of corner possible in this whole sort of mid-Wales section, and coupled with really poor weather. It's currently only lightly raining, but we've had heavy rain on the way here, and it means that some of the roads have got standing water and puddles, and we've got off camber, and we've got tightening corners and corners that open and hairpins, and we've got fast A roads and B roads and twisted little single lane. We've got a whole mixture of roads, and what this does, it gives us as owners to be able to test how good these cars are, and any weakness that these cars have will absolutely be highlighted today. And these are intoxicating, brilliant, adrenaline-packed roads that we've got to look forward to today. So we had an early start this morning from Gloucestershire. We've got in here. There's currently 5 of us in the group. We're meeting 2 others at the other end of Elan Valley, so there'll be 7 for the rest of the day. And let's hope we get some brilliant driving and ask the question, how good are these Mark 1 Fabia vRSs? One advantage you've got in a VRS is it's actually quite a narrow car. So on these quite narrow roads of mid-Wales, it just enables you to get past easier, position the car on the road that little bit easier than you can in something that's a little bit wider and a little bit more bulky. The Fabias are actually quite small cars, even though they're the 5-door, but they're certainly narrow. And the standard suspension, which is set visually a little bit high, actually on these roads it works really well, because many of the other group are on coilovers, much lower, and they're bottoming out and struggling on these bouncy, uneven roads of mid-Wales. So we've just arrived at the main corner that a lot of the car magazines use for the photo shoots here, sort of halfway through the Elan Valley. I just want to show you where I've been, or we're going today. So we've come out from Gloucestershire, but the sort of the core to this in mid-Wales is all around Radar. And currently we've gone through the first parts of the Elan Valley. We've gone up here to a dam that's a no entry. We've come back on the south. We follow a sequence of dams and reservoirs, and we're at this point here now, with this junction. And then we're going to continue along the Elan Valley into Devil's Bridge, where we're meeting another couple of Fabias. We're then going to take this B road down to Tregaron, which is a really fast flowing B road. Really good road that. And then we're going to go on some single track roads up and around the Llyn Brian reservoir. Really tight, really twisted, but the section around the reservoir is absolutely spectacular and just really good for views. We're then going to drop down into Llandovery, short section on the A40, and then we're going to go up into the Ymnit army ranges around here. Again, fabulous area this here, with regard to the roads. A lot of it's single track, but this B road isn't. It's a fast flowing road. Take us all the way back into Brecon, and then we'll head back over to Gloucestershire. The one thing you can't do though is really trail brake into corners and just try to work it out in a sort of old-fashioned hot hatch way. because there's just too much weight up front. It will understeer if pushed, and especially in this morning's very wet weather and conditions, there was quite a lot of understeer quite early on, and so you had to get your braking done first, get the car at the right speed, build the speed through the corner, and then just exit the corner on a wall of torque. And I'm finding that's definitely the best way to drive the vRS. But because of its narrowness, it helps with the corners on these small lanes as well, because you can actually position the car well for the best line through the corners, where something that's just a little bit more wider is just that bit more difficult to position. One, I think, weak part, and it's a known weak part, is the brakes. So if you go down sort of for a few miles and you're pretty much on it, then the brakes do suffer. And I've had quite a lot of, well, at times it feels like there's no pad left, but I'm sure there is. I just think they just get too hot and you just feel the brake pedal going soft, and that just, it doesn't inspire confidence, especially on these roads. This is almost worse than a circuit and a track, because you haven't got any run off here. So a lot of people upgrade the brakes, and certainly for me, I think before you even look at engines, engine mods and remaps, etc., and turbos and intercoolers, first mod for me is one of the quickest ways to go quicker is actually brakes. And I think if I was using this as a proper hot hatch for the weekend, which I don't really, but if I was, then a brake upgrade would be very, very high on the on my list of mods. With regards to the revs, I think jumping from petrol cars or petrol performance cars into a vRS diesel does take a little bit of getting used to. You are always in that gear higher than you think you are. You really need to be sort of pulling out of corners at about 2,000 to 2,500 revs. But by 4, you just upshift. You're just short shifting all the time, and it does become quite natural. And you do sort of make really quite quick progress. The seats, although I like the leather seats, and I can only speak for the leather seats, this being the SE, but you can obviously get the leather seats as an option, they're still not great. Not for proper, when you're pushing on and you're giving it one, you just want to be held in position, and sometimes you're holding on by prizing your left leg against the centre dash, your sort of right elbow into the door card, and you're just grabbing the steering wheel and trying to hold on as well as steer, because your body on these old, yes, 15, 16-year-old slippery leather seats just aren't the best for gripping you. Currently on a single track piece of the route, and we've met a camper van, and we've all had to reverse up and go on grass verges, and then lo and behold we'll go around the corner and there's a 4x4 with a trailer. So these are just things, and when there's now, what is there now, 7 of us, 7 cars, it's progress has just been a bit slower. So again, if you end up organising things like this, more people in your group, slower you will generally go. But what we're finding out about the car, well, the Uni Royal Rain Sports were really good this morning in really bad weather conditions, very wet. We're now in the afternoon, it's starting to dry up, and we're having sort of showers on and off, so we've got a real mixed bag of weather. They're certainly not as good in the dry. And in perfect queue. Yes, right. just pulled onto the Ipnit Army Rangers, just east of Llandovery, near halfway. These really fast flowing roads used by the army, so obviously just you've got to drive reasonably, but they're always really, really quiet, and I know these first sections are really, really fast, and really, really quite tricky conditions here. We've had really wet this morning, then we had lots of dry, now it's this intermediate dry with showers, and now it feels just a little bit slippy. But the car's performing really, really well. I think the interesting one was that over lunch we were talking of the 7 cars here today, 6 of the 7, only mine is unmodified, and I think that just shows you and tells you everything you need to know about VRSs. I did actually ask the group what attracts them to the Fabia VRS, and it's all about value for money. They're cheap, they're reliable, there's good performance, easy to modify. Little twisty section here. Because I did a bit of video as the cars went past, they've come to a junction and gone the wrong way, and I'm just now on the walkie-talkie trying to get them back to the junction. And actually I don't know where they are, so I've even lost myself. I think that's my top tip when it comes to, if you're arranging road trips with your mates or whatever, is you really want to keep it between really 6 is ideal, I think 8 is max. Today we've got 7. It just becomes more and more difficult, that's all, to keep everybody together and keep at a pace. And I still don't know where they are. But the good news is that the car and, well, 6.5 of the cars are all fit and well. Just one of the guys got a problem, doesn't know whether it's his turbo, bearings on his turbo going on full power. He's having a few problems, so he's going at part throttle now. But otherwise mine is work to treat, and you know what, it's coming up as I'm returning. We've been driving now for 6-7 hours, pretty hard driving at that, and it's returning 47 miles to the gallon. I think one of the disappointments, and it's been more evident this afternoon in these mixed rainy conditions, a few puddles, a few dry patches, and really mixed conditions, is the steering and the steering feel, and just finding what is actually happening with the front. And sometimes you just avoid of a little bit of steering feel, certainly when I compare it to some class leader like a sort of a Clio 182 and Renault that thrive themselves on that sort of stuff. It's not saying it's not bad. I just can't, doesn't inspire me with huge confidence with regard to what's happening. And then you couple that with the weak brakes, and it just means you've just got to be that little bit more hesitant on roads that are a little bit tricky to read. Some sports cars, the ones that are rev hungry, when you're dawdling along, when you're sat in traffic and then you want to up the pace, it takes you a second or two, drop a gear, build up the revs. The advantage with the VRS, the usability, the daily ability of the VRS is that even in mundane speeds, you've got that acceleration. You don't need to drop it down a gear to pull away because of that wall of torque from sort of as little as 1,500, 2,000 revs. You've just got this wall of pound-foot of torque to pull you out. And it just makes overtaking an absolute breeze in one of these. a good example of what has just happened with regard to the lowering of the suspension is what's just happened to one of the guys, Luke. He's hit his front splitter, he's hit it quite hard, and it's ended up hanging off the front of the car, which he's had to pull off. And that's just because the car, slam it down, make it look lower, make it look more aggressive, but from a usability point of view, it just spoils the car. I've been thinking today about, if somebody said to me in one statement, explain a Fabia vRS, Gen 1 Fabia vRS PD130, and I think I'd sum it up as performance and economy on a budget. The cheap, affordable, reliable, easy to modify and quick enough. Yeah, there might not be the sharpest hot hatch on the market, but there's a lot going for it, especially as a daily. The value of the cars, so quite a few of the guys and girls bought their cars for hundreds, not even over 1,000. These were sub £1,000 cars, and they've done various things to the cars. I don't think you get more value for money than these Fabia VRSs. Now, you're going to have to do some work, you're going to have to be handy with some tools, but these people have come on this journey. They've come out today, they've had as much enjoyment as anybody, and I don't care what car you're in. And that's my whole mantra when it comes to sports cars. And don't push yourself to the very limit on buying the very best you can. Buy something cheaper, get yourself funds to get it well maintained, put good tyres on it, and today has never been a more pertinent day than get good tyres on your car, because it's tyres that will make you quick. Have weekends away, have day trips out, and coming back on a long all-day road trip, I've still got half a tank of diesel left. Hey, welcome to the Fabia vRS world. Okay, the weather has been a little bit disappointing, but it has been a thrilling day, and I hope you've seen just a little blink of what these road trips can do. If you enjoyed it, please give me the thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't. Really important you do that, helps me out. And please carry on watching, because there'll be another video next week. Thanks, guys.